Now we're going to head to El Salvador.
508 people have been killed only this month alone in El Salvador, the most violent country in the world.
On Wednesday, citing over 2,000 arrests made in just 4 days.
Quiere decir que también las condiciones de este centro penal pueden llegar a ser inhumanas y degradantes.
Por ahí andan rumores que quieren empezarse a vengar de la gente honrada. Hagan eso y no va a haber un tiempo de comida en las cárceles. A ver cuánto tiempo duran sus homeboys allá adentro.
What if the cruelest form of hunger wasn't for food, but for a single moment of darkness? The real hunger begins when the lights never go out, when time itself becomes a tasteless meal you're forced to swallow forever. Think you understand deprivation? Then look at El Salvador, once the murder capital of the world. Now, a living laboratory of punishment, coded in silence and carved into steel. In this place, night doesn't fall. It hovers, like a surgical lamp hanging above a body that's still breathing. A reminder, some prisons aren't built to cage the body. They're built to starve the soul. They call me the outsider. I pay my way not with money, but with miles, with silence, and with questions no one wants to answer. This morning, the road spat me out in front of a wall, 9 meters high, topped with wire that hums like a warning. Behind it, 40,000 nameless shadows, tightening their guts like a man clutches a prey. Out here, a coffee costs $1. Inside, a single bean would be worth a miracle. You don't smell chicken roasting. You hear the soft buzz of a fluorescent bulb that never dies. That sound is the new scent of survival. Picture the crisp crack of fresh bread. In here, that's the sound of a rib snapping. A cold tortilla takes the place of a family sundae. A boiled egg. It's already nostalgia for a birthday that will never return. The guards don't need expressions. They wear masks like black moons. But it's the white light that delivers the true punishment. Not in years, not in cells, in endless hours, swallowed, digested, regurgitated by a ceiling that never blinks. So tell me, if light never let you sleep again, what would your soul truly hunger for? Look closer. The code has already begun. You just have to listen. They say a city dies when its sirens drown out the rooster's crow. But in El Salvador, even the sirens had stopped. By 2015, every sunrise brought with it the equivalent of a small village. Gone. Swallowed whole by morgues too full to close. 103 homicides per 100,000 people. Imagine a national holiday where 103 coffins are handed out instead of flags. The refrigeration units couldn't cope. Bodies were stacked 2 per drawer. Death had run out of room, like a starving child facing an empty bowl. Barrio 18 and MS 13 were turning school buses into rolling funeral pyres. Widows outnumbered weather reports, and I remember walking through streets still wet with fresh graffiti. Each dripping letter whispered, "Oh, promise, a slit vein before sunset." Then came March 2022. They called it Black Weekend. 87 murders in 72 hours. Fear stopped being a feeling. It became architecture. It took shape in a decree, the state of exception. 7 months later, somewhere beyond the deforested hills, the code took on concrete skin. CECOT, a punishment fortress. 165 hectares of calculated rubble, 19 sentry towers, 9-meter walls with 15,000 volts humming through them, enough to burn. Nostalgia before it touches your skin. No visits, no exits, no nightfall, just constant light and silence. That's the code carved into its steel gate. Some call it barbaric. But for mothers who used to bury a child every week, it felt more like a vaccine. Delivered all at once, in one violent dose. The government now flaunts its honor board. 365 days without a single reported homicide. But behind that frozen number, I hear something else. A question. It buzzes like a fly against a light bulb. What happens to a society when its beating heart has been locked away, Behind layers of barbed wire and voltage? Have we cured the poison? Or just bottled it in a prettier flask? Your voice matters more than a courtroom verdict. Write your thoughts in the comments. A single sentence from you might carry more weight than 1,000 guards standing in line. Let's see if this code of silence still flinches when someone from the outside dares to speak. I read your comments. The doubts you leave behind still feel warm, like breath on cold glass. Then I turn the ignition key. The road to CECOT opens ahead like a dry throat, wide, cracked, and silent. First shock. License plates are scanned before the wind even reaches the windshield. If your number isn't in the book, they say. The pavement beneath your tires closes shut like a slammed verdict. From here on, your phone is no longer a device. It becomes a corpse. Signal jammers bury it alive. Even your inner voice gets scrambled. Only the mountains, far and old, can still hear your thoughts. I pass through the first checkpoint. My life is poured into a plastic tray. Wallet, pen, 2 coins with the faded face of a poet. The second checkpoint pierces deeper. An X-ray slides through me like a ghost through bone. My skeleton lights up in blue, a silent reminder that we are just calcium holding memories we don't want to remember. Then the third scan, deeper still. It searches for escape plans hidden in my organs. And I think of what someone wrote under our last video. Can justice devour the soul? In this place, the answer comes as a quiet electronic beep. The masked escort whispers under the door of silence, "Some serve 1,000 years." Then adds, "The code begins now. No name, no clocks, no meat." And I realize that paying to enter means leaving your identity at the register of the void. An old prison bus waits outside, a relic that never stops delivering lessons. Inside, shaven men, skin almost translucent under. Uniforms so white they sting the eyes harder than the sun they'll never see again. At every stop, a finger is pressed to the glass. A photo blinks into the phantom database. The machine hums. Identity confirmed. Exit date, none. And I wonder, what is the last taste to fade when you say your name out loud for the very last time? Is it the sugar from a piece of gum? The echo of airport coffee, stale but familiar? You, watching this, answer me. What is the one thing you would refuse to leave on the conveyor belt just before the gate slams shut behind you? Write it below. Every word will be a breadcrumb of freedom passed through 15,000 volts of silence. You just wrote what you could never let go of. I just understood that behind this door, every attachment dissolves under a light that never blinks. 32 identical blocks stretch out like pages of a book no one will ever finish reading. Each one holds 100 bare iron beds. No blankets, no sheets, nothing to absorb the sweat. Day and night are conjoined twins here. A single fluorescent bulb stays suspended overhead, grinding down retinas like a lottery ticket scratched past the point of hope. At mealtime, a line forms in perfect silence. Each silhouette receives the same offering: sour beans, sticky rice, a hard-boiled egg from yesterday, 2 warm tortillas barely holding their shape. A guard recites the presidential promise: no chicken here until every free family has theirs first. I bring the tray close to my nose. The metallic smell hits first, like train rails rusted and forgotten, a tang sharper than lime. This is hunger without flavor, more violent than fasting, the taste of metal instead of salt. In a corner, a blue barrel waits. It's the same water, for drinking, for washing, for rinsing bowls and bodies alike. Shower, toilet, and sink share the same 1 square meter. Modesty is compressed into a blink no one even sees. 23.5 hours of stillness, vegetating in a cage. Then, a dry bell. 30 minutes of synchronized motion, stretches, squats, muscles screaming they still exist. It feels like a dance choreographed by pain itself, just to remind the bones they haven't turned to dust yet. And for those who forget the rhythm, there's the black box. A coffin that stands upright, 5 feet high. No light, no slit big enough for the word forgiveness to pass through. The official record? 14 days. On day 15, even the most tattooed men beg to hear the hum of electricity in the hallway. That hum becomes mercy. So now I ask you, yes, you. What would your mind be worth inside a world where the light never blinks? What thought would keep your spine from folding when metal starts replacing the taste of bread? Write it down below. Maybe a single word left here in the open could feed someone in there better than all the tortillas in the world. The silence here isn't empty. It's carved into skin. One look at their faces tells you, ink speaks louder than any voice. And when books are banned, the body becomes the only journal left. Imagine a dictionary where every word is a crime. A barbed wire tattoo over a cheekbone means enslave the other. A grimacing clown on a temple means officers executed. 1 teardrop under the eye means 1 civilian gone. 3 mean a sky too full of ghosts to count. In front of me, the iron bars reflect these bleeding hieroglyphs like cruel mirrors. Each man wearing the echo of his past, a reflection that never comes off. MS-13 and Barrio 18, once blood-sworn enemies, now chew the same cold rice, pray under the same unblinking bulb, and share the same broken latrine. The tribal code is gone, devoured by the code of survival. Here, loyalty only matters if it fits between 2 heartbeats. I walk past a guard who wears no mask, his face uncovered, his gaze direct. These men once played football with skulls, he says calmly. My bare face reminds them the rules have changed. They don't score goals anymore. His skin, stripped of armor, speaks louder than bars, proving that no tattoo can command fear anymore. Now tell me, if every breath you took had to be etched on your forehead, what symbol would you choose to carry forever? Think about that as you hover your thumb over the subscribe button. Every bell that rings lights a new lamp in our journey through the invisible codes of punishment. Turn it on now. Our next descent will take you somewhere. Gold burns the lungs, and mercury is traded like cash. Between you and me, that click leaves no scar. But it just might change the way you read faces from now on. My finger hasn't even left the subscription bell when a side door groans open. It vomits a man whose head has been shaved down to the skin. His tattoos faded like ink that's been begging under fluorescent light for too many years. Marvin Ernesto Medrano, 41 years old, founder of the crazy criminal clique. 30 lives erased like days peeled off an old calendar. His voice isn't deep. It's cold, like the stagnant water his cellmates use to wash everything, even their regrets. I ask him when his collection of deaths began. He doesn't answer with a date. He gives me an image. The day the 18s riddled my mother with bullets, I heard her blood hit the ground like drops of hot rain. From then on, every bullet I fired was a kind of umbrella I opened over my rage. I noticed something strange. He uses the past tense to talk about his hate, but the present tense when describing the sound of her blood. Proof that he still hears it, again and again, every night, echoing through these walls that offer only one soundtrack. When I ask him about remorse, he lowers his eyes. He admits to crying in the dark, even when the light never turns off. They think I'm dry in here, he says, but my tears learned how to fall without shining. Then he lifts his head, jaw tight. If that door opened, I'd do it all again. Out there, the smell of warm rice isn't enough to fill the space my mother left behind. in the air. And you, on the other side of this screen, if the only scent left in your life was this saltless rice, would you forgive your own body for remembering the world outside? Let me hear your answer in one simple gesture. Press like the way you'd slam your hand on a table, just to remind yourself that you exist. Every thumb raised will echo here, even in the black box where Marvin now counts nights instead of years. Marvin returns to his iron bench, and I stay frozen in place, caught between two invisible flashes, his moist confession and the light that never dies. In other prisons, night comes like a torn blanket. Here, it's been strangled with bare hands. On the rooftops, still silhouettes clutch their T-65 rifles like someone holding the final note of a requiem. The guns sleep, loaded with rubber bullets, but the commander leans in. Silence hits harder than a shot. It drains the soul without leaving a mark. I look up. A marksman aims, not at inmates, but at the horizon. He's pointing at the outside world, as if to say, from now on, light belongs to the watchers. The guards live 5 straight days under this surgical brightness. On the 6th, they escape into their own darkness, rushing home to relearn dusk. In the gym, I see them lifting weights with the gravity of monks holding candles. They forge muscle to keep the mind from breaking when the sun's rotation has been confiscated. They too have forgotten whether it's Wednesday or November. Only their biceps testify to the passing of time. For the inmates, clocks have become thermal. A chill brushing their skin at 5 a.m. is their alarm. As heat rises, they guess it's noon, then fall again into that eternal white with no afternoon. The light here doesn't illuminate, it weighs. It falls on their eyelids like a liquid chain, sealing dreams, erasing the line between memory and hallucination. In such conditions, even the shadow of a sparrow cutting across a corridor skylight becomes historic. A living graffiti, a new code to decode. And then it hits me. The true cost of a pacified society isn't carved into electrified walls. It's hidden in the invisible bill that light presents to the mind. Each extra ray charges 1 more minute of consciousness. So I ask myself, how many days of unbroken brightness would it take to bleach the memories of the watchers too? The light keeps pouring over my shoulders as a new door opens, this one flanked by flat screens like windows turned into cold, liquid glass. Here, justice is delivered by video conference. An invisible judge, somewhere in an air-conditioned capital, pronounces centuries like weather forecasts. The accused, still cuffed, responds from his cell through a microphone. No hallway exists to connect voice and body. The sentence travels without disturbing the air, like an email sentence to rot in the spam folder of eternity. I can still sense the marble presence of an old courthouse, but now, the gavel strikes through, a screen so thin it could slice a throat. The guide murmurs, every syllable hitting like a shovel in dirt. If they ever leave this place, it'll be lying down. Their only exit door is called a coffin. I scan the numbers. Youth is what's caged here. 20, maybe 25, rarely past 35. Yet the average sentence flirts with 300 years. Absurd arithmetic. Like demanding men already blinded pay a debt in light. These extra centuries were never meant to be lived. They exist to remind us that time itself can be turned into a wall. What does a future look like when the horizon line matches the edge of a tombstone? I leave that question on your tongue. Write it to me in the comments. What's the first thing you would do if your entire future fit inside a 17-inch screen? Could you breathe without lifting your head? Your reply, resting below, may weigh more than a courtroom verdict. And maybe, just maybe, through this endless light, someone will one day find in your words a crack wide enough for a different kind of ray to slip through. CECOT isn't a prison. It's a polished mirror smeared with volts and dried tears. Violence is locked inside so the boulevards can finally breathe. But in its place, a different hunger grows. The longing for sunlight brushing the back of your neck, for the scent of coffee drifting through a quiet kitchen, for the golden crackle of a chicken wing on a Sunday plate. Here, it's not the bars that imprison most. It's the minutes. They ferment like spoiled milk and eventually explode inside the heads of those who count them. Close your eyes for a second. If someone confiscated your dreams before even taking your flesh, how many days would your soul still sound human? Leave your answer in the comments. A single word typed here weighs more than any welded lock, because it travels beyond the walls no key was meant to open. If this journey stirred something in you, don't let the algorithm bury it. Subscribe to Millionaire for a reason and hit the bell now. Each new subscriber is a step deeper into the forbidden corridors we'll walk together. And share this video with someone who still believes light is always free. Let them feel how heavy it can become when used as punishment. Get ready. Our next stop takes us deep into the ruins of another kind of prison, one where punishment wears the mask of healing. In the heart of Afghanistan, thousands of drug addicts are thrown into so-called rehab centers, run by the Taliban. No medicine, no therapy, only cold floors, locked chains, and silence as a cure. What they call treatment, others might call torture. Click, share, and join us. Because in a world where pain is renamed discipline and suffering is repackaged as salvation, the most dangerous prisons are the ones that pretend to save.